Hi, everybody. Welcome to the season 3 finale of the Bag Collection podcast. My guest today is the incredibly talented, sweet, beautiful, wonderful scream queen, Dee Wallace. She gave a little bit behind the scenes kind of stuff from her past films, and I just grew up watching her, as many of you I'm sure have as well. And she's just a big inspiration for me, so I'm really happy that she was able to take the time out of her day to record with me. So thank you so much, Dee. I appreciate you so much. I hope you guys really enjoy this episode. And as always, like, comment, and share.
You hear me?
Yeah, hi, how are you?
Hi, sweetheart. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How have you been with everything going
Can you
on?
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay,
you.
good. Yeah,
Okay,
let me open the screen again.
I love that little background.
Yeah, Amazon. What can you not get on Amazon, right?
Right? My mom lives through Amazon. We constantly are getting packages.
Yeah, I think we all do. Especially during the pandemic, we all kind
Exactly.
of live there. Okay.
So, what have you been up to since the pandemic hit?
Actually, I've been very busy. I just make a point to stay busy and keep creating. And
Mhm.
um, I'm halfway through my next book, and I
Awesome.
just got back from doing a movie, and I produced a horror film called Stay Home.
Mhm.
Um, for the horror fans. It's just a 20-minute short, but a bunch of my horror fans came together and did it with me. Not fans, uh, icons. Scout Taylor Compton, Danielle Harris, Barbara Crampton, and Kane Hodder. And
Mhm.
we all got together. Everybody shot their thing in their own home. And then we edited it together. And yeah, so I also have a whole other business that I do as a life coach and helping people helping people deal with fear and anxiety and all that that's going on right now.
That's incredible. It I love that you're still working, and just to see, like I said, like to see you still working is incredible to me, because not a lot of people, once they get old enough, they don't really work enough, or they just don't get into the business enough. And I love that you're staying busy, and it gives me hope for the future.
Well, good. Yeah, my I made a decision a long time ago that I'm gonna live right up until the time I leave.
No,
I'm
and
not
I
going to sit around
yeah.
and wait to die. I'm going to just keep creating. And I want to be like Einstein. When they find me, I got a pencil and a pad, and I'm working on something.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, I'm when I talk to other actors on my podcast, I tell them all the time, like, I've been working a lot. I have 2 jobs right now. So I've just been working as much as I can to save money, because my student loans are going to start coming whether I want them to or not.
I
And
hear you.
I'm going to be getting a car, so I need to be able to pay my insurance and my car bill, of course. And then, of course, when I have the time, I just keep creating, and just like doing new makeup stuff, like for special effects, or more just
Good for
acting
you.
audio, like just keeping myself busy. So I feel like it's important, and it's
Well,
really easy now to keep creating.
yeah, I think that's really the answer to life, is that you just have to keep creating who you are and what you're doing and what you're interested in. And, you know, you throw enough stuff against the wall, something sticks.
Exactly. You never know you're gonna talk to, or who's gonna see your stuff. You just never know. So it's always important to just keep putting
Nope,
yourself out
you
there.
don't. That's right.
Hmm.
So good for you and good for me.
Yep. So because I know when I did that little virtual meet and greet with you through Salem Horror, you were talking a little bit about how you actually got into the business. If I remember correctly, you did say you were just like making cookies and then taking them to the studios.
Well, when I got out to Los Angeles, that's how I got in to meet all the casting directors, because you couldn't get onto the lot unless you had an appointment and a pass. So I baked a lot of chocolate chip cookies and wrapped them in cellophane and went to the guard gate and said, yeah, I've got a lot of deliveries. And he said, okay, go on through. And so I did have deliveries, but I took them to all the different casting directors. One of those casting directors was the head of casting at Universal. And he had me come in so we could talk. And while I was in there, he got a call from the set that the girl who was going to play the waitress was sick. And what should they do? Because they were like ready to shoot. And he looked at me and he said, what size do you wear? I said, what size do you need? And I stuffed myself into that size 4. And
Wow.
and that was, yeah, my first film gig in LA.
That's just so like I sometimes I make fun of myself because I do these Comic-Cons. I go to the Comic-Cons and I meet these other actors and stuff. And meanwhile, I'm an actor myself. So like it's kind of cool, but so funny just like how you made your start. It's very interesting because everybody's start is different. And you again, it just comes down to you never know who you're gonna see and who you're gonna talk to. And so I just kind of wanted you to tell that little story real quick because I just thought it was so interesting.
Yeah, you just gotta, you know, you've just got to keep asking yourself, how can I, right? If I've got to meet the casting directors and the casting directors are on the lot, how can I get into them to meet them? How can I get to meet that producer? How can I get in for that audition? You just have to keep saying, how can I? And then your brain finds an answer somewhere.
Yeah. So growing up, like I watched pretty much almost every film you were in. I grew up like on you and Daniel Harris and Scout Taylor Compton. Like I love all your guys' work. And one of the main things I love is horror. I'm a huge horror fan. It's what I want to get into in my career. And one movie that I always think of when your name pops up is Cujo. And I love that film so, so much. I was telling my grandmother the other day, I was
Thank
like, oh my
you.
gosh, I'm going to be able to talk to Dee on my podcast. She goes, wait, wasn't she on Cujo? And I was like, yeah, she was the mom. She was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So how did you get that audition? What was it like being on a set like that? Was there any challenges for you playing that now that, because I know you are a mother now. And so was there just
Well,
anything?
the whole movie was just one big challenge. And I didn't audition for Cujo. The same producer that did Cujo had also done The Howling. So we were friends. And after The Howling, I did E.T., so I was huge at the time. And so
Right.
they called and asked if I wanted to do Cujo. And I, of course, said, yeah, it's a tour de force part for a woman. But it was literally the hardest thing I've ever done in my career. Physically, emotionally, mentally, it was It was tough. I blew out all my adrenals. They treated me for exhaustion afterwards. It was a tough shoot, but it's my favorite movie of mine.
Because I know, I just remember you being in that car. It was so hot, and you're holding the kid, and you're like, one big thing I love about movies is when they can make me feel something. And every time, no matter how many times I've watched it, it's always made me feel something. And I think that's really important to bring to a story. But like, was it really hot when you filmed, or did they just have, like, how did that all go about?
Actually, we were cold most of the time. It was Northern California in November and December. So the magic of filmmaking, with spritz and glycerin and acting. And at one point, Danny was so cold that I asked if I could put a little portable heater in the car. So they chopped up the car and figured out a way to put a heater in there for us so we could stay warmer. And for those animal lovers out there, I just want you to know the dogs were incredibly well taken care of. Carl Miller, the trainer, even slept with them in the barn.
Aww.
And there were 13 dogs, including the stuntman that played Cujo, but almost every one of the shots were the real dogs. And they were all trained to go after toys. So it was a big game to them. We had to tie their tails down with fish wire. And
That's
so
crazy.
there was 13 of them, one of me.
Like, I just love hearing these kind of stories. I think it's interesting to not only hear like what the actor went through, but just like behind the scenes stuff. Because a lot of times, no, like, it's all the time basically. Anytime you do a movie, you need a crew, so it can't be done without a crew. So it's like I like hearing about the whole unit working together. I think it's interesting and cool.
Yeah, it takes a lot of people to create a movie.
Mm-hmm. So I know you said Cujo is probably one of your favorites that you've ever filmed, but is there a particular character that has kind of stuck with you up until this day that you kind of like you inspire from for your other characters that you work on other movies for?
No, the only character in my life that continues to inspire a lot of my roles is my mother.
I love that.
My mom was, well, my dad was an alcoholic. And so for all practical purposes, we were raised by a single mom. And strong, talented, very talented actress in local theater in Kansas City. She really is the reason I think that I wanted to be an actress. And she was just the epitome of love, my mom.
Yeah, I have a very close relationship with my parents. So hearing that made my heart swell, to get a little cheesy for a moment, but genuinely, I get inspired every day by the both of them because they work really hard and they support me a lot with my career, and I'm very fortunate for that. And so it's great to have the inspiration from them and the support from them. I'm very, very lucky.
Yes, you are. Makes a big difference, doesn't it?
It really does. Because sadly, that's not how all parents are. And so that's why I always say every day, like, I'm grateful and I'm lucky, and I'm just very humbled to have parents like that in my life.
Yep. we all need that unconditional love and support.
I think it's very important, especially with everything going on nowadays. It's crazy. So I just feel like more love and positivity needs to be spread as much as possible, again, because everything that's going on.
You bet, baby.
Crazy. It's so crazy how the world
It's-
is today.
Yep. And we just really all have to get back to loving ourselves and loving each other,
I agree.
because we cannot continue on this path.
No, we can't. We
Just
can't.
cannot continue on this. Not if we want to be vital and happy and healthy. You know, there's a lot of scientific studies that are proving that people who live in love are so much healthier than people who live in fear or anger or judgment. That your DNA literally heals itself from love.
Yeah.
So if there's no other reason that you would choose, I would think that would be enough, just to know you're going to be healthier and happier.
Exactly. Yeah, basically what I was just saying before it kicked me off was I just hope with everything going on we can just start coming back together and, you know, just keep spreading that love and positivity, because if we don't, it's just not going to get any better, and we can't let the world go down like that. We just can't do
Well,
it.
and it all starts with you and me,
Mhm.
you know.
Exactly.
So I don't want anybody to think they can't make a difference, because just you living in your brightness and in love makes a difference in the world.
Right.
And it affects all of the collective consciousness. So we all have a responsibility, especially right now, to hold on to that.
I agree. So you did mention a little bit about stay home, and I did talk to you about it again at the virtual meet and greet. It really, it like got me a little anxious, and I was like, oh my goodness, I got to make sure my doors are locked. I'm a little freaked out by it, but it was just,
Well, good.
right?
We did our job then, didn't we?
Exactly. And it's what's nice is you get to use platforms like this, and you did say that you guys did film in the privacy of your own home and everything, and then you edit it together.
Uh-huh.
Where did you kind of get the idea? Did you guys all team up, or was
Well,
it just?
I was sitting here one day. Going, gosh, what can I create? I'm bored. And I thought, I wonder if we could do like a little short horror film just as a love gift to our fans. So I called my daughter and I told her my idea. And I said, I think it would be fun if we did some kind of takeoff on the COVID thing about staying home, because everybody says you're safe if you stay home, right?
Right.
So she asked a friend of hers, and they wrote it together and co-directed it together, and they came up with this great little story about, of course, we all are staying home and we're not safe at
Right.
all. So you can find it on Bloody Disgusting's YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go to YouTube, it's you'll like it. I mean, it was fun, don't you think?
It definitely was. It, like I said, it gave me this like adrenaline almost. I was like, oh my gosh, like please don't let any of them die. And then everybody started dying. And then I'm not gonna spoil who was the killer at the end, because I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil it. But I was like, oh my gosh, like there was so many twists and turns in just that small like 20 minutes And I was like, oh my gosh, if they can do it in 20 minutes, they're doing something right.
Well, it all started with a thought, like everything starts with. Just just sitting here, like I said, going, what can I create? What rocks my boat today? What feels good?
Right. Yeah, there's been a horror movie that I've been working on since I was in high school. And I cannot find an ending. So I just keep saying, okay, well, instead of just making one ending, I'll just make multiples. And when I finally get down to budgeting and going to make it, then I can figure out with my team what to do. And
Yeah.
like I said, that's why I love having the team effort, because it doesn't have to just be you. You can bring awesome, like-minded people who love to do what you love to do and make it something bigger than you ever thought it would be.
Yep. Absolutely. That's why filmmaking is such a collaborative effort.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You get a good team and everybody brings in their best ideas
Right.
and you bounce stuff off each other, and that's when the magic really happens.
Exactly. One more thing I wanted to bring up before I ask my final question and let you go. I love Rob Zombie movies. He is a director that I want to work with one day, 100%. He seems like an amazing guy, and he knows what he's doing when he's on a set. So obviously you did the Halloween movies with him, and you did 3 from Hell, which I loved you in. Was there I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. So which role out of the movies that you've done with Rob were your favorite, and why?
Oh gosh. Well, I really loved Halloween because we were working with steady cams and everybody was just improvising and bringing in their best ideas. And I loved working with Scout. She's become like a daughter number 2 for me. But I loved the part in 3 from Hell. When he sent it to me, I went, oh my God, could I, it was so delicious to get in to just bury yourself in a character like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I called Rob and I said, Rob, I really would love to do this, but I can't look like me. I got to dye my hair brown. Can I have some really snarly looking glasses on, anything that makes me ugly and tough? That's the way I want to go. And he loved all those ideas. And so and it was great. He actually had a critic call him and say, I'm reviewing the film and I really love it. But did you cut out Dee Wallace? Because I see she's listed in the cast list, but I don't see her in the movie.
Oh my
And
gosh!
Rob said, oh, go back and watch again. I think you might find her. Well, that's probably the best, compliment you can give an actor, is that they don't even know who you are, right?
Mm-hmm. That's so cool. I love that so much. The one scene that I loved so much was when Sherry, baby, her character, when they were in the one room and they were giving her like her sentence on if she was going on parole or not, and she banged her head on your nose and broke your nose. I was like, oh my gosh, just the whole dynamic of it. I was like, this is just incredible. I just love watching his movies, and every actor he brings in is people I look up to and hope to work with one day. And so,
he's the nicest guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's just the nicest guy. And he and Sherry together, just a beautiful couple. Yeah, I look forward to working with him whenever he calls.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's how I would feel. I mean, like I said, that's why I love that you're still acting and you're still doing what you love, especially at your age. You like not a lot of people do that, and I give you a lot of credit.
Well, I think everybody my age wants to work, you
Yeah.
know. Um, and I think a lot of women my age have the energy to work. So we just need people to write us the roles so we can
Exactly.
work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my final question for you is for those who are watching that want to be an actor one day, what is your advice that you want to give to them?
Well, first of all, you have to commit. And commitment is different than, God, I really wish I could be an actress. Or I think I'd really like to be an actor. That's not committing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be an actor and I'm going to do everything I can to be an actor is committing. And then to be yourself, because, I taught acting for 45 years. 45 years, no, 18 years. And I think the biggest misnomer that actors have is they think when they walk into an audition that they're supposed to be somebody else, that they want them to be somebody else. They don't. They want you to authentically bring in you.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that, build the character around it.
Mm-hmm.
So the more power of you that you walk into that room with, the more chance you have of booking the role.
Lovely. I
And
love
have fun. If
exactly.
it gets to the point where you're not having fun, probably time to leave.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%. I've seen a lot of my friends and just other peers in itself go through that kind of thing. And it is true. The best thing you can do for yourself is just to not do it anymore because you're beating yourself into the ground. It's not an easy career.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now, who said that? That's a belief. My career was a very easy career. I got started really easily. I didn't leave Kansas till I was 27. And within a little under 7 years, I was starring in ET. It doesn't have to be hard, but
It doesn't, no. You're right.
You will create your life around your beliefs. So make sure your beliefs match the life you want.
No, I mean you're not wrong. I agree with you.
I know, I teach it every day. Which, by the way, if anybody wants to check out my healing work, my website is IamDeeWallace.com.
Awesome. Well, Dee, thank you so much for doing this. I'm really happy that you got to do it. I really hope that I get to work with you one day because I look up to you and you're incredible. And I can't wait to see what more comes out for you.
Well, thank you, darling. And we'll hold that thought that one day we'll get to work together.
100%. I believe it's going to happen. It'll happen in time.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And hopefully I'll see you at one of the cons if the world ever opens up again.
I hope so. Dee, you have a wonderful day and I will talk to you soon.
All right, darling. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.
You too. Bye.
Bye.